Well, there you go, the old slower full toss almost doing the job.
Yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was going for the slower ball Yorker. He gets away with it, bottom of the bat, and he'll take that dot delivery. Now he's thinking, come on, I've got to get my best delivery out here. 5 deliveries, just gone for the 8. I went for 4 for my first. I pulled it back beautifully. What is the best option here? There'll be discussion. They're changing the field now. Third man comes up into the ring. There's 2 men back on the leg side, and it's all about damage control here for Coetzee. I don't think he's thinking about a wicket. He's thinking about what delivery can I bowl, where at worst it goes for a single.
Yeah, well, his speeds are between 132 and 114 so far in this over. Oh no, very rare you see that. But he threaded the needle, did Mitchell Marsh.
Mitchell Marsh played some great shots. We've seen some mows early on, but his straight drives have been muscled down the ground. Oh, lovely punch. I think it's a test match the way he just kept it. Oh, good gap.
Almost like you're setting up a photo shoot there, and you've got to get them to time the dive right. Anyway, 57 for 1.
Yeah, it's gone in a couple of bridges there on the way to the fence. This is brilliant from Australia. You kind of used to think that 50 was like a decent score after 6. 57 after 4. They're well ahead of the curve.
Yeah, 24 balls, will have been a couple of wides, 8 boundaries in that. 2 of them 6s.
I think it's a wicket. The pitch itself has a lot to do with it. The fact that it's a really good wicket, and they've assessed that very early on in the innings. Mind you, the first 3 balls, or the guys have said, you know what, this is a real belt-off wicket. We're just going to go hard, and it's either 40 for 3 or just 70 for 1. It's what they're looking at.
Nazard Williams for the first time.
Yeah, Keith Lane's been in my ear again. Average power play here at Kingsmead, 45 for 2 in T20. So this is well ahead of that. I suppose the interesting thing is, does Markham decide to go to pace-off spin in the last over of the 6 in the power play? That could be an option for him, but he's gone to Williams, and it's kind of more of the same.
With Lizard Williams, one of his strengths is that he can go full, and he's a skiddy type bowler, so he almost tries to get under the bat. And if you look at his field, he's got a man at deep square leg, he's got a man at deep mid wicket, so it probably looks like his idea he's going to go at the pads to try and close off, get the hands tucked in.
That's a gorgeous stroke. He stands up almost with a straight front leg in a regal manner, does Mitchell Marsh.
Yeah, the margin for error, as you're saying, Hash, is so small. He has to be straight. He has to be at the stumps. A little bit of width, and Marsh just opens the face and it flies away. The key too is to know your batters. I don't often see Mitchell Marsh, if I've ever seen him, get down and paddle. So he's not going to try and paddle you past short 45. So therefore you can afford to be nice and full and straight, and try and make sure that he picks on the 2 boundary riders.
That's a biggie. Don't worry about that. Well, do if you're driving down what was once known as the Old Fort Road. I think the name's changed now, but that is a big, big hit.
Yeah, I think that's into the Old Fort. It used to be called the Old Fort Road End, but it's gone miles back. It's his highest score in T20 against South Africa, and that ball isn't coming back. Someone's got themselves a souvenir.
The way Mitchell Marsh is batting, I think he'll walk on water here. He's just picking up the delivery. Is great. It's not a bad length ball, but he's just getting under it, and such great connection and power. I mean, they've forced the umpires to get a new ball in. Hopefully this new ball will prove in South Africa's favor.
Yeah, that's just seen though, Ash, more of the same. It's been 4.5 overs of the same kind of deliveries, and I would think Lizard Williams would be better off actually, in fact, definitely going for Yorkers, because anything that Mitchell Marsh can get under, he's just going to help on his way like he does there.
Probably the Yorker is the one option, but what about a bouncer as well? We haven't seen any bumpers. We've got guys who can bowl at 140, 140 plus. A bouncer just to give something in the mind of the batsman. Otherwise, it's just, he knows where he's coming and he's delivering.
It's the wider delivery. They've changed the field. They put the boundary right, a square of the wicket on the offside. The only thing I'd say about the bouncer, I would like it from the other side. I think this is the smaller boundary, and it's also got the wind-assisted So if Marsh does go up and over, and he tends to go hard at them, but definitely an option for the next over. Maybe try and get them hit into the wind, into the long low boundary. Now he's going to be thinking 2 deliveries to go. I'm under the pump, new batter on strike. He's gone back to his original field that he had set for Mitchell Marsh. And I think it needs to be full and straight, personally.
Now, is there a chance? There is a real chance. Oh, and he's held on. What a relief to everybody out there in favour of South Africa. A wicket just so they can gather themselves. It's Matt Short who goes, trying to match Mitchell Marsh's big striking, but that's very important for those South Africans.
Yeah, celebrations all round. They'll be happy with this. It wasn't a full and straight. It was a straight but back of a length delivery. Short goes after it, and he doesn't manage to pick on the short boundary. All he can do is pick out Hendricks. He takes his second catch of the evening. That's important for South Africa. The tide was flowing with Australia, and they'll be hoping that with that wicket they can stem it. He goes for 20, 69 for 2.
Josh Inglis, also a wonderful striker of the cricket ball. Different build from these guys. Shorter, stockier guy, but like them, strong upper body. Strike rate of 141. Just keep looking at the strike rate. Not that there's a lot of innings or runs to necessarily apply it. Strike rate is a very important marker of the modern player. 5 gone, and it's 70 for 2.
Just a fraction. Yep.
Well, what a start. 70 for 2. No, you're not wrong looking at your screen. We haven't got the overs wrong. 5 overs. It's been carnage. Here's Katsir. Half a shout. In hope more than anything else. Chris Morris, what about this then?
Well, after taking a little bit of a pasting in the beginning of his over, Lazard Williams going back to that back of the length, hitting the top of the stumps, and Australian batters have gone hard all night, and that unfortunately going straight up. And a solid catch from Reza Hendricks. You know, it's like when you haven't played a lot of cricket, those hands might be a little bit soft, but good solid catch.
Bowling! Oh, beautiful! Joel Katsir with some fire!
Excellent bit of bowling from Gerald Katsir. He's known for his pace. He's a big man. Hits the wicket hard. And this time outfoxing Josh Inglis with a beautiful slow ball. The execution is excellent. And the key to that is getting it nice and full, getting it above the eye line. An excellent result for the big, fast, burly, fast bowler from South Africa. Look at that. He plays with his heart on the sleeve. Passionate man. Big wicket for South Africa. Australia 70 for 3.
I love watching my two with their grandparents. The kids bring out the mischievous side. Being away on holiday together, I realise how lucky I am.
7-night Norwegian Fjords holidays from $6.99 per person.
Inglis is gone.
One leg.
70 for 3. And it's some sort of respite if you're South Africa, the fact that you're taking wickets. But I think that's got to continue if Australia aren't to get what is a mammoth score here. Stoinis is in. He's a big hitter too. Good to see that bumper. And crying for it.
We saw Hashim Amla, or heard Hashim Amla talking about the short ball that was needed. And that's a proper short ball to start. But there again, like I said, getting the ball above the eye line with that slower ball. If you bowl quick and you can get that ball to dip like he has, it's an excellent result for Gerald Coetzee. An excellent piece of bowling, outfoxing a young, talented Australian batter.
I absolutely love his fire, Gerald Coetzee. Let's see. Keep watching.
Does that count as 2 for the over? Or
You can't bowl on it yourself. Aidan Markram at the helm. Concussion protocols. Normally it's when it hits your helmet. Oh, he's saying, I'm fine, come on, leave me alone. He's saying, no, I can't because of this.
no, the South African physio, Sizu Khadeva, he'll probably talk about a little bit of brain freeze, putting that ice pack on his head, but that's an absolute beauty. Straight to the left eye. Gerald's a big, tough boy, he'll be all right.
It's mandatory, by the way, the concussion check. There's any contact, ball on your head, or even when you fall. As just recently saw George Linder went for a catch, bit of a collision, hit the ground, and actually was concussed, I think.
I'm surprised the umpires didn't check to change the ball there with that damage.
It's in the wars, isn't he? He'll say I stopped that, and he's not going to show any pain, but that hurts. What that says, actually, with the ones that are sort of below the stumps, is that they've been picked up, and there's a great deal of aggression from Australia. And it's not so much that lengths have been particularly missed, even though some have. It's 70 for 3. What a power play.
An explosive power play from the Australian batters. Came out swinging. And good delivery from Walker Jansen to pick up the wicket of Travis Head, but it's been Australia since then. Some shots any over pitch balls gone straight over the boundary. There's some clean hitting from these big Australians. Interesting to see how they play the rest of the innings, but they have pedal to the middle, and some good cricket shots in between. Some, we don't want to call them hoiks, but some big hits, and Azad Williams with the wickets. Gerald Coetzee finishing off the pop. Aiden.
Yeah, what an over coming back. First over went for 12, and he's come back and bowled a wicket maiden. And South Africa will hope that's what's going to turn the tide, because it's been one way. Yes, 3 wickets, but at some point they're going at 15s and 16s. Highest power play here in Durban at Kingsmead. 70 for 3. Right, protection out in the deep, allowed. Aerial for some time, and still those hands will be thrown at the ball if there's any width at all. Marsh will play freely. Australian skipper for the first time. Proud moment for him and for his family, no doubt.
Yeah, rich history in their family. I reckon the last one he thought he'd hit that straight down super straight. As you can see, they delayed on the single there, but interesting to see how they approach this next 13 overs. They've been playing quite aggressively, and at the loss of 3 wickets, you know, we'll see how they approach from it. Do they carry on going? Do they look to rebuild if you can in the T20 innings? But the way they've been playing, you probably think they're going to carry on with the ultra aggressive approach.
Perhaps a cause with the 3 wickets having fallen to sort of just throttle back. Maybe not. Although you'd say this, Chris, that Stoinis will go for the shot should it be on. So to watch as batters go after deliveries they feel are short or too full and try and maximize by hitting them out the ground, it's not necessarily to be ultra aggressive. It's just to back oneself and feel that, well, if it's short, it's out the ground, then there's no problem. If it's anywhere near a goodish area, then they'll kind of be cautious. Nicely done.
Clever bowling from Azad Williams. Australians would have had the reputation of playing the short ball very well, but has taken the pace of that. The key was the height on that slow ball. You get that slightly lower in the arc, but that's an excellent bit of bowling. Yes, Dr. Stoinis is probably looking to just ramp that over the keeper. He would have told you, but excellent piece of bowling. But just on your point with the big shots and, you know, play the ball on merit, Kingsmead's got a lot of pockets into the corners, so a lot of 2s. I think there's even been a 3 tonight, so it's all about clever batting.
Shot. Nicely played. It's a little punch, you know, and away it goes over mid-on for 6. Stoinis with power.
Just a flick of the wrist from Marcus Stoinis. He's known for his big hitting. Usually opens the batting, takes his time. But that is a ridiculous cricket shot from the big man. Azad Williams slightly missing his length there, but that's an excellent cricket shot. No slogging about that. Oh, it's just beautiful. 83 meters in Durban's a big hit.
Yep, through the thick air. Nice length found, and just got him back a little bit, having to stand up to try and play that. And he's disappointed, Stoinis, that he doesn't get it through that offside. Mid-off is up, and if he gets it past cover, he can set off for a couple of runs at the very least. And if he hits it well enough, he'll probably go for 4. But, you know, loving watching the aggression and batters backing themselves when the ball's in their area. Fielder taken. Didn't get it away. And only picked out the man. Another one gone.
It looked to be a little bit of niggle before the ball with Marcus Stoinis and Azad Williams. And Azad Williams coming out on top this time. We've spoken about the short pitch bowling. Wasn't a full-on bouncer, but this is back of a length, hard into the stomach. And Marcus Stoinis usually is very good on that short ball. Hits it straight down Marco Janssen's throat. South Africans stemming the flow of the Australians' run flow here. Excellent piece of bowling. Marcus Stoinis goes for 6. Australia 77 for 4.
More and more big hitters. He's at number 6, Tim David. He is in the 8th over. They're 4 down for 77. Rate of scoring, not a problem whatsoever. Each of their strike rates particularly good as they come in, these Aussies. But South Africa will be happy that they keep chipping away. Here's another wicket taker, Tabraiz Shamsi.
Oh, box, am I?
Nice start.
Important stage of the game already. We're into the 8th over of the first innings of the Australians and got off to an absolute flyer, but with wickets falling continuously, it just stems that run flow. And now when you've got Tabraiz Shamsi coming on, looks to tie them up slightly. And just on Tim David, you know, he's inexperienced in international cricket, but he would look to be the anchor in this batting lineup.
No, got anything on that? Let's have a look. Leg buys given. Yeah, he's been around the world. Tim David. Hobart Hurricanes, Mumbai Indians, Lancashire, Southern Brave, MI Cape Town. Shots of catch it, oh, just short. He's a good fielder, gets around the park, does Dewald Brevis, and might just have thought twice and then decided to go. Had to try and judge it, and perfectly with the seeing across the other side of the ground, not so easy.
His initial movement looked like he struggled to pick it up with the background there. It looked like he lost it, but yeah, sometimes you look at those and take that wicket. And Australia in a lot of strife. And this is what Tabraiz Shamsi lives for, these moments when you've got big hitters coming out. And as you can see, that mouth is going away like it always has. Always been a fan of that with Tabraiz Shamsi. He's always backed his skill and always backed his mouth. And most of the time he comes out on top, which I love.
Yeah, just a good little period here, where it's a salvo from South Africa after the bashing right up at the front. And wickets, always important. 69 for 1 and becomes 77 for 4. And could well have been another one.
Oh!
Not going to be buzzed. Okay, 84 for 4.
Roll up, it's the EFL Cup. Expect the unexpected. Doncaster versus Everton. Tonight, live on Sky Sports. Arsenal v Manchester United tops off a great weekend of action in the one and only Premier League. Live on Sky Sports.
It's 10 and over is how the game's going. It's 10 and a half actually, so going at 10s, you're going well. Here's Lungengiti. Back into the attack. A solitary over for him. And the start went for 20. Australians sparing absolutely no one. Good record and all. They'll take you on. And Lungengiti has got a fantastic record. Generally up at the front, he takes wickets.
I think it's so important for the bowlers to come back from those initial overs after taking a little bit of a pacing. Some of the best advice I ever got given playing T20 cricket was you can change the whole game with one ball. And that's the mantra that you've got to take as a bowler, because you can go for as many runs as you don't want, or as many runs as happens in the game. But your one wicket that you get, or one dot ball, can change the whole outcome of the game.
Indeed. Yep. Well, it'll go for 6, as has happened here. They've gotten a long way. The straighter it gets, the longer they are.
Clever bowling from Ngidi. Bowling to his field. He set that sweeper out on the offside and just changing his line a little bit. And with that brings Mitch Marsh 50. It's been a measured innings. He's played some good shots with some very good calculated strokes. That's a well-deserved 50 from the Australian captain.
Yeah, career fastest for him. Previous fastest 24 balls. Striking at a sluggish 227. Just hesitated a little bit for Vuma.
Yeah, good example of Temba Bavuma. Is usually deadly in these situations, but taking the focus on Temba Bavuma's eyes like a panther pouncing on a gazelle. He doesn't often miss. You'll be disappointed that he missed there, but that's how Temba 3 years ago he would have gotten there.
I reckon you've sledged every one of them. Valiant effort, but the timing too good from Mitchell Marsh. Placed it well enough to tease Brevis. Going for 4.
That's an excellent piece of batting from Mitch Marsh. Lungi Ngidi's bowled quite a few slower balls this over and waited excellently for that one. Got on top of the bounce and carved it past point for 4. Valiant effort, as you said, by Devil Brevis. But excellent batting yet again from Mitch Marsh. Important for Ngidi to close this over out, which has been a good one.
Nicely done. 9 done. It's 92 for 4. Your projected scores, and I reckon they're coming down every time. The wickets have meant that things have slowed down. Partnership 15 from 12. Oh! I wonder if that carried him. He's turning away, suggests that it's pitched just short of him, and he had expected it to get to him.
It's a very shame. He will admit he's not the best of his own bowling, but he actually did quite a good job there with the foot. But his lengths have been excellent so far.
It's important for him to follow up. Decent over first up, really good actually. And in this little period where South Africa has got a measure of control in the game, needs to just keep it going. And so far, really good. No width whatsoever, but importantly, getting a length that's difficult for both of these, Marsh or David, to get away.
I think what's important, in cricket terms, you call it a step ball. When you ball slightly fuller, the batsman just steps into it and can launch over the boundary. His lengths have been superb, as you mentioned, Pom. When you got the batsman, when Tobias Shamsi's got the batsman going back to his deliveries, he's winning, and so far so good for the leg spinner.
Oh, hurry.
Got amount of pressure built up here from Tobias Shamsi. 2 more balls left in this over. Do the Australians look to take the risk? They haven't seen either of these two use their feet to the spinner yet. So 2 important balls to finish it over for Tobias Shamsi. And you almost feel like there's something building up and something's going to happen.
Shot. Oh, beautifully played. All along the ground as well. For 4 to bring up 100 for the Australians.
I just spoke about the step ball. Tim David's a tall man, got down on one knee and actually sniped that one to the boundary. Excellent batting from the tall burly Australian. Could that be the momentum that they need to carry on with their innings? Excellent shot.
Good comeback. 10 overs done. It's 100 for 4.
Lift them over again.
100 for 4, 10 overs done. Let's get to the KFC bucket where Cass Naidu is with special guests.
Kwame, thanks very much. I think I am the envy of every young kid in South Africa. I'm literally sitting in the giant KFC bucket with some Protea stars watching the first KFC T20 International alongside Kaya Zondo and Andile Perlekwayo in your KFC bucket hats. I quite like that. You're enjoying yourself here?
Yeah, no, it's an unbelievable experience to be in the KFC bucket hats. I think it's adding a little bit of style to me with the bucket hats, but it's an unbelievable night and privileged to be here.
You walked in, both of you walked in, Kaya, and immediately the selfies, the photos, being so close to the fans. How does that feel to know that this is the reason why you actually played the game?
It's very humbling, actually, and it's nice to see people happy and the smiles on their faces when you arrive. So it's definitely fulfilling.
Well, I can tell you, when we go out for a KFC order, everyone has their favorites. What is your favorite? Are you going for zinger or dunked wings?
So, personally, I'd go for dunked wings. I don't know about Kaya.
Kaya, where are you going with that?
Dunked as well.
Dunked.
Definitely dunked.
Okay. Let me talk about the game here. We've got a couple of new players in both teams. It almost feels like a transition phase for both Australia and South Africa.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But, I mean, they all are lining up for the World Cup, so I'm sure there's going to be opportunities for everyone.
And when you look at this Australian team as well, you know, everyone talks about a number of players missing, but there are a couple of stars coming through in their 27s, 28s, waiting for that opportunity, finally getting the chance.
Yeah, I think international cricket, you just have to wait for an opportunity that presents itself. I think being exposed to international cricket is a huge honor and privilege. It's the level that you want to be playing at, and definitely seems like it's good quality cricket. I think the scores are telling us a good game.
What are you predicting? What's the good score we have?
I'm predicting probably 175.
175.
A few wickets. It's a bit difficult to bat here in Durban in the back end, so 175 for me.
Kaya?
Yeah, I'd also go 175, 180.
175, 180.
180, somewhere there. I think they've lost maybe too many wickets. If they had more in hand, then I might go higher, but 180.
And then let you guys head off and sign some autographs, take some selfies, back up to the commentators.
Well, Tim David is in good nick, I can tell you that. He's generally thought of as someone to bat at the end, you know, the death, the last 6, 5, 4 overs and make hay because of his physical strength. But I think it's nice that he gets in a little earlier and can play more of an innings. He hit the last 4 balls I saw him face in a match playing for the Southern Brave in the 100. He hit them all for 6. 70 came off the first 5 and only 30 off the next 5. So South Africa have redressed it a bit. And you can't say they have control because at 10 overs and 4 balls, 110 on the ball, but they have more control than they had at some early stage of proceedings.
Yeah, I think they've become experienced, the players in this T20 format. They also have a good understanding. And Australia will look at it and see, okay, 4 wickets down, we've got 110, we're going at a great rate of knots. We could possibly post over 200, which has only been posted once here in a day-night T20 here at Kingsmead. But the key is not to lose this, or have another wicket fall down and break this partnership. Mitchell Marsh is going really well, 56 of 28. Tim David, he can be so destructive at the back end, but they need to be there. And they're not going to eliminate all the risk. They certainly aren't going to eliminate all the risk, but they're going to try and be as selective and as clever about the risk they take. And the partnership is vitally important. 111 after 11 overs.
Dad, I really want to make a spaceship of that fairy bottle, but it's taken ages to run out. We've got loads left. It's still going.
Drop for drop, Fairy lasts up to 2 times longer in cooler water than the next best-selling brand. We call it Fair Economy.
Well, definitely the Rugby World Cup at the forefront of a lot of people's minds, particularly South Africans and New Zealanders, and Welshmen and Irishmen and Frenchmen. Difficult for England to be overexcited about it at the moment. But here's Tabraiz Shamsi to bowl to Mitchell Marsh.
Yeah, just going back to that point is you're just trying to be, you're obviously going to have to take a risk, but you don't want to be reckless at this stage from Australia's point of view. They want to be knocking it around. We saw a wonderful sweep shot, I think it was from Tim David, square of the wicket, where there was minimal risk to that shot being executed. And he managed to pick up a boundary.
That's a big hit. Good, hard, flat thump. That's what they love about Tim David. Game-changing stuff.
I think he's got himself 100,000. I think that was a clean catch.
Oh, is he?
He's having handshakes, so I think so. It's just hopefully no one's touched it. It was a brilliant shot by Tim David. Flat delivery from Shamsi. That's risk-free for him. He's got the ability to whack it out of any ground. Oh, yes!
Oh,
what a beauty!
Yes! Go, you good thing. 100,000 rand.
Ball, Timo!
You'd have to, if you had your wits about you and you came to the cricket, you'd have to get yourself wide mid-on in the crowd. Wide mid-on, cow corner. You'd have to back yourself to grab anything that comes anywhere near.
Yeah, I think Durban's crowd also needs to be credited. I think they got 5 catches in the SA20. And now they've plucked one out the air again when the money's on the line. So under the pressure, they are executing on the banks and in the stands.
You're full of natural cricketers here, you guys. Your era full of them, yourself and Jonty and Lance Klusner and Andrew Hudson and so many others. Kevin Peterson out of Maritzburg, in fact standing in the commentary box behind us. Barry Richards, not so dusty.
Yeah, I'm glad you put us fielders, Jonty Rhodes and Sean Pollock, in the same couple.
Hashi Mumler is here. I mean, proper ball strikers and natural catchers of a cricket ball. Yeah, Neil Johnson, he could catch. Zimbabwean, mind you, not a child boy, but very much enjoyed playing here. Oh, well. Oh, it's going to carry. It's going to beat the fielder. That's not a long boundary. It's no more than 61, 62 metres. And guys with the upper body strength and these bats, they chip it over there.
Yeah, I think that was a big moment. It would have been an important wicket for South Africa. Tim David might have had his heart in his mouth for a brief time. Hendricks set himself but couldn't get underneath it, and it clears by maybe 1.5 meters. There's the disappointment for Shamsi. That would have been a huge blow, but it's not, and David moves to 27 or 14.
Oh! They've put on 50 together now, and they've done it with minimum effort, maximum effect. And 127 for 4. One, 2-7 for 4. Graham Smith joining us in the commentary box. Just getting a lesson on how to make his audio controls work, as if he hasn't done enough commentary.
I'll tell you what, things have upgraded since last I was in the Supersport box. Evening, everybody.
Yeah, we've got a new system underway here in the Supersport com box at the moment, so Graham Smith hasn't quite accustomed himself to it as yet.
Thunderous ball striking. This really is an innings now. He's moved to 32 in just 16 balls. Tim David.
Yeah, Coetzee used the slow ball to good advantage in his other spell. And he starts, change of entry coming from the Umgani end now, and he starts with that slow ball, but slightly overpitched and beautifully caressed by Tim David.
Another one of the modern breed who hasn't played any first-class cricket at all. Played 14 matches for Singapore, the place of his birth, and 11 for Australia at T20 level. But no first-class cricket, no state cricket, no county cricket, no provincial cricket. His strike rate in T20 cricket at international level is 160.
Wait!
Right, we can talk to Graham at last. How's it, Bud, as they say?
Hi everyone, it's good to get the cricket season underway in South Africa. Good to be in Durban. I know Polly's happy for some home content. It actually looks like a good surface here in Durban tonight, Polly.
You sound surprised, do it? It's quality pitches here.
It's not the pitches you grew up on.
No, this is a bit flatter than those ones.
Those snake pits. Oh my goodness me! This is really serious ball striking. The sound, the crisp sound there.
That's something you don't see all that often. That has ramped off the top of the roof. He's hit it like a tracer bullet. It's come out in a flat trajectory. And watch it ramp as it gets onto the roof. Bang! Into the old fort it goes. That's the second ball we've lost tonight.
Well, give this guy a good pitch and a bit of form, and he's up there with anybody, if not ahead of most, which is why he's so sought after in the world of franchise cricket. And your journey into franchise cricket here in South Africa that you led so well at the start of the year has given a good signal of young talent in this country, I think.
Yeah, the man bowling himself, I think, is one of those options that have starting to rise in our game as it's punched away through the offside. Will Ngidi get there? Looks like he's missed it. Yeah, and I think we've spoken a lot about being able to build new levels of talent in the game, and
brought some gravitas back into South African cricket. And in season 1 we were blessed. It was supported by the fans and some excellent cricket. So we built to season 2 now. We've got the auction around the corner where the squads will be finalised on the 27th. And yeah, it's just, you know, at the core base of it, we will always be a cricket product. And we want to see that go from strength to strength every season.
That's the enormous pressure that the bowler is under when guys are hitting it like this. These are two of the strongest hitters in the game anywhere in the world, and it's understandable that you're trying to get the ball away from the bat, so you're asking the batsman to do more with his feet, head and hands. So you're looking for the wide Yorker, and you're looking to change the pace a lot so the batsman can't set himself. And you don't have to be much out to pay the price of a wide, which is what Katsir's just unfortunately done.
Quite a young bowling attack tonight, and I think there was quite a feature last year from the competition, Mark, as we build in that conversation. The exposure to big crowds and pressure moments, I think, can only benefit the youngsters as well. There's no bigger pressure trying to control this pair in full flow on a good surface. All the mental side and sort of technical side is tested, decision-making, skills.
Oh, that might be above waist height. The umpires will certainly look at it. There's no need to race back for 2 because there might be a free hit coming here.
Yeah, it was a
fair delivery.
It was a slow ball, was dipping, and he's got away with it. 144 for 4.
A lot of cheering down there as look at this. This is worth 100,000 rand. You guys started that in SA20.
Yeah, one of the great activations of SA20 was the Betway Catcher 2 million in the end. And we look forward to another season of that activation and the crowds testing their skills and turning out in droves. We were so fortunate to have the fans come out and support season 1, and we want to build on that. Much better fixture list this year. Evening games throughout the week, double headers on Saturdays and afternoon games on Sundays. So, you know, access to all 6 venues throughout the 4 to 5 weeks is really set up what will be a great home and away competition for season 2.
Lungi Ngidi with his vast experience. I think one thing that fascinated me while we got you was the speed at which the people of South Africa adapted to the support of a new franchise, a new idea, new colours, new names. I think it can happen quickly, but I didn't think it would happen that quickly.
No, we were surprised as well. I mean, we had a home game in the first week at each of the 6 venues, and I'll never forget standing in each stadium and seeing the colours and the vibrancy and the atmosphere. Carved away through the offside. Another powerful shot from David. We were amazed at how fast that affinity grew. And each stadium around the country also built its own atmosphere, its own characteristic, and you want to see that grow. You want to see them really get behind their home team. As you say, Mark, we had a sort of 3 to 4 year plan, and that's why contracting, we built the player contracts. All the South African players were contracted for 2 years because we thought we've got to build this brand affinity. But the fans took to it so quickly, it amazed us. And now I guess the key is to grow that in-stadium experience, the brand affinity, the cricket, and to go from strength to strength on what we were able to create.
Going to be a mighty big score here. 150 now, 13 and a half overs. So still 6 after this one. 6 overs and 3 balls. 50 on the board.
Yeah, I think this partnership has been key. 73 or 40 is the interception points. And you can see when he decides to go, he gets out in front of himself and absolutely smashes it. The ones that are close to his body. He's just guided past backward point. And that's not one of them. He hasn't guarded that in any way. Smashed that. It's the slow ball. We often see Lungi Ngidi go to this option at this stage of the innings. It's one of those deliveries he favours, and it's often very effective. But Marsh has adapted brilliantly. He's just waited, held, and then he's engaged and smashed it.
Do you know, guys, the more I see, the more I think the grounds aren't big enough anymore. This upper body strength and the modern bats, and there's very few. I mean, there are some grounds in Australia, one or two in England, but the oval maybe, but it depends which side of the square you are. GS Bowl, but I mean, the fact is that the guys now, you don't have to get a lot of it. You certainly don't need to get the middle of the bat. It flies to the boundary.
I think that was actually a feature of the World Cup in Australia. Some of the bigger grounds, there's often people being caught on the fence, and you do feel for the bowlers at times, and you do wonder if there is any way to maybe even at Kingsmead try and give them an extra metre or two. Because you think of tonight, Reza Hendricks, who was on the boundary and the ball popped over his head, metre and a half.
Yeah, just now, Tim David off to brace Shamsi, and on most grounds that'd be caught. The problem is the health and safety and the need for space behind, room. So it's difficult, but I do agree that there are grounds where boundaries could be bigger than they presently are. This isn't necessarily one of them, looking at these.
Yeah, Graham Smith has promised the bowlers in the SA20 that he's going to give them a few extra metres.
A batting commissioner, Polly. No, I've said from the start, like across the board, from selection, the league wants the most competitive league, and a good balance between bat and ball definitely adds to that. And the interest of the game, 154 for 4.
I reckon if you tell the bowlers that the boundaries be expanded, you'll get extra guys signing up for the league. Extra 5 metres, they might say, okay, well, we'll leave any other league behind and make sure we head over to South Africa.
Well, we do. It is well worth, because not everybody who listens is a cricket aficionado. It's well worth highlighting the importance of the balance between bat and ball. I do think that cricket's future in any format is dependent upon that. I accept that in the shortest form you're going to have an imbalance. The thrill of boundaries and sixes particularly is something that the new audience loves, but you can't let it get out of hand. You can't have a completely one-sided contest for interest in the various formats to remain.
Yeah, and characteristics of pitches. I mean, obviously you always want to create a good platform for good cricket that the skills can shine through on both sides. But around the 6 venues, there's different sizes, different nuances and pitches that create a bit of thinking that comes into the strategy. And obviously the excitement, everyone wants to feel, the highlights of the game, and that's where I guess it's amplified in the short formats as well.
Another full toss that hasn't gone to the boundary. There have been quite a few today. Saw quite a few in the recent competition in England. Splicing it as Marsh almost gets on it too early.
Yeah, South Africa's bowling coach at one stage and actual coach Eric Simons was always a big believer in the low full toss, or even one that hits the top of the bails. He believed that if you could perfect that, you could do some damage. And that one splices.
That's beautiful stroke. What a way to go to 50 for Tim David. A sparkling innings.
Yeah, brilliant from Tim David. 6 4s and 3 6s involved in that 50. And he came in at a time, Australia 77 for 4. They needed someone to stick around. He hasn't only stuck around, but he struck at 220 strike rate. And he has been the perfect foil for his captain. And this partnership has got them to 160 still with over 5 overs to go. This has been quality from Tim David.
Oh, that's even better. This is quite something now. He's catching up Mitchell Marsh. 37 balls. Marsh for 68. Tim David 25 balls for 57. In that there are 7 fours and 3 sixes.
Yeah, not good thinking. Not off in the ring, and that's a half volley on a green pitch, spinning pitch, flat pitch. That deserved what it got. You have to get your strategy right now, and your execution has to be even better.
Yeah, it's so challenging for bowlers at this time, but you kind of want to see what the game plan is. You should be able to work it out as a commentator. And with that field setting, he can't be going at that option. That's better. He's got 3 men back on the leg side. He's got protection there, so that's a very good option. Angling in, full-length delivery.
Yeah, the pair have now set a record for the 5th wicket for the Australians in this format of the game. On class, Ricky Ponting and Simon Kadich. Simon Kadich, a very different sort of player from these guys, much more of a worker of spaces, hard runner, more of a square of the wicket player in the main. These two are big, tall men, drivers of the ball, and very good at picking up length, and back they come for 2, so they can run quickly between the wickets as well. Stumps the hit, but the batsmen were well in their ground. 15 gone, 167 for 4.
Partnership 90 from 49. 6 more, ever so slightly short, and those quick feet of tiny Tim David, and the power to go with it for 6.
Fantastic shot from Tim David. A touch short from Tabraiz Shamsi. He lashed him that really quickly, and the crowd here in Kingsmead really coming alive with these 6s. Fantastic shot, 69 meters 6. When you look at it, it does seem a lot bigger. Big man hit a big 6.
Wide.
Here we go, boy.
Yeah, tough trying to get out the arc, get outside of the arc, trying to have him fetch it so he could miss-hit it and perhaps present a chance. There you go, up in the air. Can you get there? Yes, you can. Absolutely fantastic from Temba Bavuma. And oh, did they need that, South Africa?
And as that ball went up into the air, Tim David, they sort of looked at each other, the long on and Temba Bavuma. So he was delayed getting to that catch, but made up absolutely beautifully. Moved swiftly across the ground, managed to get 2 hands to it, but that's an excellent catch from Temba.
Slightly high on the bat, or rather towards the back end or edge of the bat. Look at the catch. Temba Bavuma, aerial. We know he's prone to take some brilliant catches and some brilliant run out. Tim David goes for 64. He's faced 28 balls. Look at that strike rate. Fantastic knot.
Aaron Hardy in at the business end of this innings, looking to try and put finishing touches to it.
Oh!
And half a shell.
Go on, Semi!
From Stubbs.
The wicket couldn't have come at a better time for the Proteas. Both David and Marsh looking set to take the innings to new heights. Tebe Shamri always won to get a wicket for the Proteas team.
Nicely played. Just the second ball he faces, and he's decided, well, there's my gap, and this is one of my shots. Pulled it off. 4.
Africans wouldn't have seen lots of Hardy. That's a well-executed, calculated shot. Adam Mocker moving himself across to cover more protection on the offside, but that's excellent batting from Hardy.
Get!
Oh, leading edge. The onside.
One of the smart things for Aiden Markham that he's done is he's kept 1 over left of Tabriz Shamsi right at the back end of the innings, and that allows the team to get a wicket just at a crucial time to peg back any team that has taken the lead like Australia have done.
You need your fielders to help you.
Oh, beautiful.
And Temba Bavuma certainly helped there. That's an outstanding catch.
Why, Blackie? Who's backing?
Yeah, runs in the over 12 of them, but importantly a wicket as well. 179 for 5.
A lot of similarities to the man sitting to my right, Hashim Amla, with Temba Bavuma. The agility, the pace, the movement. I'm actually talking about the beard and the bald head, but it's excellent, excellent catch from Temba Bavuma.
Thanks, Murray. I've always felt I was a cat on the field. Temba, I think I always used to say, if your feet are fast enough, you don't have to dive, and that's the theory I went with.
Nothing like it when teammates sit up here. And when kids turn up at the ground, yes, they've got their rugby shirts on. A little matter of a Rugby World Cup defense for the Bokke.
Has you played much rugby in your day?
Yes, Maury, I did. Under 14D was the team. I had the nickname of Demon Runner. I played center. As long as they offloaded the ball to me, I ran through the opposition. It's certainly one of those games that when you're playing cricket when you're younger and you kind of ask your parents to venture into the rugby world, there's always concerns of injury and these type of things, but the amount of physical contact you had is really so amazing, and it's really tough. Fantastic sport to play.
Oh yes, Aaron Hardy. That is some shot for 6.
Welcome to the international stage, Mr. Hardy. That is an excellent cricket shot. Azad Williams looking for that wide line, but that is an awesome cricket shot here to overcome. Technically one of the most difficult shots to hit, but watch that beautifully onto the middle of the bat.
Spot on, Murray. Hitting a 6 over extra cover is just one of the beautiful shots in T20 cricket. Because technically you've got to be in a good position, your hands got to go through the ball, and you've got to have power behind it.
Tried to repeat the dose, couldn't quite make contact, and he feels he's missed out because it was there.
Azad Williams is bowling to his field. If you have a look, you have a deep backward point, you've got a cover on the fence, you've got a long off as well. So he's bowling to his field. and keeping it outside off stump. Aaron Hardy was just up to the task in the previous ball, so you kind of have to just say, well, great shot. And the bowler is bowling to his field.
Oh, off the edge. And it's gone for 4. You'd have to be philosophical about that, because that's what you want. You're going to try and fox him, and if you have and it's still gone to the boundary, not a lot you can do.
And that's the risk you take, unfortunately, with having third man up and bowling this line. A thin outside edge, just beating Lungi Ngidi, but you've got to have thick skin to be a fast bowler at the end of a T20 innings. Your skill needs to be scrutinized with every delivery.
Oopsie. Will be checked for height. Good fielding off the fence. Reza Hendricks off it really quickly. Communication between standing ump and square leg, no trouble. They probably said, oh, he's a little bit crouched. And as they look at it on the big screen, they'd say, oh, I think we missed out there, could have had one. But of course, they're not going to check it. The umpires have to make that decision, and they'll check it if it was a wicket fall in. If it falls, then they can have a look. "13 off. 192 for 5. Nice crowd in. Wednesday night, so many having to come from work. Some have already, others perhaps still making their way. Close to 7:30. Good game brewing here. Yeah, much merrymaking and an occasion. It really is at the cricket. You turn up as a group and have a bit of fun. Let balls sail out the ground. If you catch one, that's nice, particularly one-handed. Could make some money. Here's Katsir.
Katsir's got an interesting plan. He's come around the wicket to the right-handed batsman, so it almost creates an angle going across the right-hander. Wouldn't be surprised if part of their video analysis on Marsh was to cramp him up and trying to bowl almost on leg stump and restrict him from freeing his arms.
Fielded. Good call now, because he'll run you out. He's like a whip it across the ground. Temba Bavuma.
Excellent piece of work by Temba Bavuma. Just coming back to your point, Hash, bowling around the wicket, I always felt it was a lot more difficult to execute the Yorkers from around the wicket. But obviously, Gerald, we can understand he would have practiced it in the net and felt that a lot more comfortable for him.
Another interesting thing about having Temba at long off is nowadays you don't see many, or you see very tall fielders at your long on and long off, because the batsmen have been, they're so brave to take on long and long off, so the ball almost just falls over the fence. So Maury, you were one of these guys who are at long and long off now and then because of your height, and they practice these amazing catches of throwing the ball back in. So Temba's done well to represent himself there.
Good Yorker from Gerald Coetzee, but Ash, just on that point, they always say the best fielders find themselves on the boundary, and naturally I would have found myself on the boundary in most games.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Maury. He always loves signing a few autographs. We love the show.
Thanks, Ash. Thank you for noticing that.
Helped on its way. Spoils the over. Had been singles to this point. It brings up 200 for the Australians. It's that man Marsh leading from the front.
I'm not quite sure there's a due factor at the moment. There's been a lot of full tosses, knee height full tosses, stump height full tosses. They're not the easiest balls to hit. So the fact that Marsh got under it and paddled it along the way, it's a fantastic effort.
With those low full tosses, you probably find that's just lack of cricket or lack of on-field performance. You can bowl as many Yorkers as you want in the net. You can practice them as much as you want, but when it comes to crunch time, that execution is important. Then match time matters.
Beautifully played. Can't have fielders there. Well, you could, but generally you don't have them there. 4 to finish it. It's 12 off. 204 for 5. So nicely played. Didn't quite get into the block hole looking for the Yorker. And you get punished. Yeah, that's right. Straight back. And fine touch and flying with confidence. Mitchell Marsh. 2 overs to go. Here's Lazard Williams to bowl his final one. Just a single. Mitchell Marsh on his 78, and that's a career best for him. His fastest 50 got there in 22 balls, beating his previous fastest, which was 24 balls, and here he is with a career best score as well. He's usurping that 77 that he had before as a highest score. Yeah, I say flying with confidence. Filled in the Ashes and played that aggressive knot for 100.
I think I made the point off air that, in my opinion, the best white ball players are the best test players, and specifically T20. If you're playing a lot of red ball cricket, I think your skill is so upskilled in playing the shorter format, and proof is in the pudding today.
Skewed off the bat, looking well in front to try and go for 4 Hardy, but he won't mind where it comes. It's a boundary, and it just adds to Australia's score. On they go.
And again, Lazard Williams bowling to his field, but that outside edge coming again. And as I said in the previous over that he bowled, it's the risky run. Fortunately, when you're bowling that line in this field.
Got it. It was flat. It went quickly. He came in and crouched in, really did Brevis. It's a good catch.
It's a great catch. I think we all were surprised he ran in and the ball was smashed at him. To get your hands up and to hold on to this is a fantastic effort from Deval Brevis. Really middle of the bat. It's a great shot. Great hands by Brevi.
See a face of relief from Lazard Williams, but he'll take that. Aaron Hardy goes for a well played 23 off 14, 210 for 6.
Sean Abbott. Oh! Whew. I'm looking at a screen here, and it felt like there was...
That was hit hard. I think Lazard Williams is lucky that ball was out of the way, but it's a good effort to actually stop some runs. Probably stop 4 runs there to get his hand out and to almost get a run out. The Australian team certainly is busting with a lot of good all-rounders. I mean, we had Hardy come in here, good cameo for 23. And Abbott as well is a fantastic all-rounder that is up and coming. He's played a lot of cricket.
Striking. Oh, what a strike. He'll be disappointed, Brevis, because it hits his hands, but man, it's gone for 4. Hits so hard. 215 for 6.
I don't think Brevis realised how quickly this ball was coming to him. Thought he might have had a lot more time to gather that in, but yeah, the sheer power for Mitch Marsh beating the man on the boundary.
Yeah, scrambling in the end to try and get to it. It was just about past him. Have a look on the right-hand side. 215 for 6. There's 1 over to go. Economy. Not a whole lot of it. Suggests here that this pitch is very good, but would like to give the Australians credit. The batters have come out and have been ultra aggressive. Gone at things in the power play. Over 75, 30 for 2. In the gap, thinking too, it's Marsh who says, don't worry, I'll take care of this.
Hash, as an opening batter in T20 cricket, when do you start thinking as a fielding team right now? When do you start thinking about your task ahead of you with this big total?
I'd say by the 17th over, Maury, you kind of mind starting to, mentally prepare what possible total you could be chasing. I think at the 17th over, I'd been thinking, probably would have been thinking around the 220 mark, and once it gets above 200, to be quite honest with you, you're thinking to yourself that it's going to be guns blazing from the start. There is no real time to pull it back and get yourself in, because the power play is so crucial. If you look at the way the Australians play, they got 70-odd in the power play. They really came hard at the South Africans, and that's the way you're going to have to play. So it narrows down the way that you're going to attack the innings, because there's no other way. You've just got to keep up with the rate.
So important for the Australians here to finish with the flourish. Safe. Hit into no man's land. Didn't hit it at all, really. The strike wasn't clean from Abbott. What it does is get Mitchell Marsh back on strike. On 84, he'll be eyeing the 100. Nicely done by Ngidi. Couple of runs. They're not going to stop those at this stage.
And I think just to notice the 4 balls that Lungi Ngidi has bowled. First ball, 131. Second ball, 131. Then he's gone to his slow ball, his trusty slow ball that's been so good for him over the years, and back to his full pace Yorker. He's tried his best not to be predictable in his last 2 balls.
Highest score in Durban here, 220 on the board already. Mitchell Marsh looking for 6 more.
Keep back, keep back.
Another side of the ground, so you can't really see what's happened. Well, that went a mile on there. I originally thought it went all the way for 6. It's into one of those deep pockets here at Kingsmead. If we take a look, he's dropped it, and it looks like they've just kept it in play, and they've run 2.
Yeah, that's the question, whether he's kept it in play or not, or if it's come off the rope and then come back in. Yep, it has come off the rope. Now the question is, does it hit the rope on the fall? Because if it does, then it's 6. It hasn't. There you go, confirmation. 4 runs. A welcome boundary to the Australians. 9 off the over. Here's the final one then. Doesn't get it away. Thinking 2, hasn't hit it, and so it affords him the opportunity. So tough to come off the fence with the ball not hit particularly hard. It's trickling. So 11 off the final one. Marsh finishes 92 not out from 49 balls. He shakes his head as it goes off because he'd have liked to have struck a few more, especially towards the back end, out the ground. That's why he's shaking his head, just not quite able to get the timing, as was the case at the beginning of his innings. But 226 for 6 is a fabulous score.
Yeah, the Aussies came out swinging, they came out strong, and they'd never let foot off the pedal. Led by Mitch Marsh, his first game as captain of Australia. He was relentless, and then Tim David with his bludgeoning blows that he hit around Kingsmead, and Hardy coming out on debut and playing a brilliant cameo. That's a commanding score that the Australians have got, and the South Africans will have their work cut out.
Yeah, look at the partnerships, and 63 from 28 up at the top gives them the start, and then further on the wickets fall, and Marsh and David 97 from 52. That sets it up beautifully. Right, downstairs now to Casnine.
Thank you so much, Pommy. A monster total on the board, and I'm standing next to someone who's played a key role in it, Tim David. 64 from 28, 7 4s and 4 6s. What was it like batting out there?
Yeah, it was probably the time I came as a little bit of a stick or twist in the middle of the innings, where if we lost a wicket, it could have hamstrung us a little bit. So pleasing to put a good partnership together with Mitch. Obviously, it's a good total on the board, but we need to come out and bowl well on the power play to start off well.
What have you made of the surface? Because when you got in there, as you said, you were in a bit of trouble. What was the talk between you and Mitch when you got out there?
Yeah, I think there was still really good scoring opportunities available. The pitch was playing well, but it's definitely two pace. So, the ball popped a little bit, it spun a little bit when Shamsi bowled. So it was about taking the right options and just building a partnership, and thankfully it came off today.
Well, you had the opportunity to play SA20 being here in Durban. What's it like coming back here to Kingsmead?
Yeah, there's not as many people cheering for the team I'm playing for today. So it's great to see everyone out here. I've heard it's a little bit different time of year in the winter here, but yeah, it's a beautiful ground to play at.
Confident you can defend this?
Absolutely.
Tim David, thank you very much.
Yeah, no doubt he'd be confident. A look at the bowling side of things. A 3 for 44 for Lazard Williams. And Shamsi, who bowled really well in that middle period. You heard Tim David speak about that. 1 for 42 for him. 1 for 40 for Coetzee. 10 dot balls in that. There were few and far between in terms of dot balls bowling at these Australians. Hence that 226 for 6 on the board. So, to win, it's going to have to be a record here at Kingsmead. 227. A tall order, I tell you. But we're looking forward to seeing the response.
I love that Just Wash Fairy freshness. I just don't want it to fade. Now I've found Fairy's In Wash Scent Boosters. Simply add directly into the drum before every wash for mild freshness that lasts and lasts, cuddle after cuddle. They're dermatologically tested and suitable even next to sensitive skin. New Fairy Scent Boosters.
When we're on holiday, Dad loves his food. The spicier the better. And he absolutely loves an adventure. Yep, that's my dad. He's just a big kid, excited to meet a turtle. What a holiday that was.
15-night Caribbean holidays from $1099 per person. Atoll protected.
I've discovered Fairy Non-Bio Platinum Gel, and it's changed my laundry game. Because with toddlers in the house, it's all stains and mess. And it's not just the kids. With gel, I can squeeze just what I need to deal with tough stains even on a cold wash. It's more powerful on stains and it's still so soft on sensitive skin. It's something that works for all of us. Fairy Non-Bio Platinum Gel with extra stain removal.
You got us back to Greece. You're the head of the family now. Me? The most important journey brings you home.
Greek voodoo.
Like Big Back Greek Wedding 3.
Shop Etsy's end of summer sale for big savings on home, style, and gifts on etsy.co.uk. Etsy has it.
I keep my home fresh with Febreze Revolution plug-in. And I use this. Febreze has smart programming to digitally control how much scent is released, so you never stop noticing freshness for up to 90 days.
Oh, does mine have smart programming?
Oh, Febreze also has a refill reminder light.
It even reminds you to refill it?
So I never miss a day of freshness.
Wow, it's so fresh.
Upgrade to Febreze Revolution.
Enjoy more of the latest blockbusters on Sky Cinema with Scream 6.
Hello, Samantha. Did you miss me?
Run. He's gonna keep coming after us.
I'm going to punish you, Sam. Better watch your back.
You better watch yours.
Scream 6, available the 8th of September on Sky Cinema.
You ought to pay more attention to women if you want to know what's really going on.
I'm putting this whole thing, crushing it out.
You do not turn on your family!
You're gonna have to burn the whole house down, undo everything he's done.
I will.
Do you want to be a goddess?
Ferrari drivers dream of home, to do it at Monza.
What a magnificent win for Ferrari.
We know how important it will be for the team, for the championship, for the tifosi.
The passionate Italian motor racing enthusiasts who worship Ferrari.
It's such a great atmosphere, this race, it really is.
Can Ferrari give the tifosi something to shout about at Monza? To add Sky Sports, go to sky.com/sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, one and all, get ready for the part of the show that will make you go, a blast from the past as the once greatest game, United against Arsenal, takes center stage again. The scene is set. We've seen strong men, high-flying performance, glorious acrobatics, tantalizing trickery. Sensational! Now it's their turn to put on a show. That is world-class. It's Arsenal versus Manchester United. To add Sky Sports, go to sky.com/sports. Welcome to the city that never sleeps. The greatest return in tennis. The U.S. Open, live on Sky Sports.
Monster hits have been the order of the day here at Kingsmead, and Australia have put on the biggest T20 international total here in Durban. 226 for 6, and Tim David and Mitch Marsh. They really showed us how to do it here, Polly.
Yeah, they did. I thought they were both superb. Both had to play different roles too. I thought Mitch Marsh has become accustomed to walking in at 3 in this T20 format and just smashing it to all parts. But almost like the responsibility of captaincy, kind of, he took that onto his shoulders and said, okay, we've lost 4 wickets. We need to put a partnership together, and they did manage to do that. I think it was a partnership of 96. Tim David was, for me, was the key though. When he comes in, naturally what he wants to do is be aggressive. He wants to play his shots, he wants to smash the ball to all parts. But he almost felt like he was a little bit reserved. And when I say that, he's got his score of 28 balls, so he was striking at over 200, so it's hardly reserved. But by his standards, he kind of just manipulated things around, and then when he saw deliveries that he could go after, he was quite lethal on them. And particularly Shamsi, I mean, he played him really well. In his interview, he talked about, well, actually the ball was holding, it was quite difficult to get away, but it didn't seem to look that way. He really executed brilliantly, and actually spoke to him after your interview, and he said, oh, I missed out on the party time. I got out with a few overs to go. That was where I really could have cut loose. But his innings, I think, for me, was the key to their success.
You've got to love Mitch Marsh, right? He's just come on in leaps and bounds, was injured, got back into the Ashes, just seems to be coming into his own at the moment. How much will captaincy really enhance his abilities on the cricket field?
Yeah, I touched on it briefly, but with regards to responsibility, and I think the key for him is that, you know, in those situations, sometimes you go, oh, well, I'm just that kind of player. I'm just going to express myself. I'm just going to keep smashing it to all parts. But he didn't. He got into a little bit of like a change of gear back to third or fourth, continued to be a positive mindset, but not reckless. And I think that was the key. And he's not out at the end. It was vitally important that he did that. So he's going from strength to strength. We keep seeing him step into the Australian colours and perform, whether it be Test cricket or T20. And with the responsibility of captain to perform like that on his first outing as the captain, I think that was superb.
Yeah, I mean, to lose wickets the way they did, and as Tim David said, one more wicket than they would have been in trouble. It just shows you, though, here at Kingsmead, you can lose a few and you can still pick up some momentum.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know much about Hardy. I mean, we didn't know what he was going to bring to the party. Then it was Sean Abbott. So you lose 2 wickets there, you're all of a sudden 6 down. You're in some big trouble. South Africa got off to a good start, wicket with the 3rd delivery of the day. So that's what you want to try and do. You want to try and put people on the back foot. Also took out the left-handed option that Australia had. But they cut loose after that. This was an important wicket. Short, he's a bit guilty of getting out when he gets to 20 or 30. We've seen him in the outfield as well. So he'll be disappointed with that. But I think the big wicket was the next one. I like the way Coetzee changed things up. I think there would have been a lot of discussion about what was going to be effective. And that slow delivery, the length of that slow delivery, I think that was important for him. But all the bowlers struggled. I mean, I know we're going to see the wickets, and it was kind of donated at the back end. But every single one of the South African bowlers went for over 40. So no one really worked out how to be effective or try and stem the flow of runs. You know, Zard Williams was probably the pick. He came on at a difficult time, and that was an important wicket.
Well, again, it just shows you that even though they were losing wickets, their ability to see what they wanted to go towards, and then when they got over 180, 200 was just an easy shot.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they were 100 off the 10, so they were ahead of the rate. This was a brilliant catch by Temba. At one stage, I was watching him, and he kind of looked at long on as if to go, is that your ball? And then he decided to go, and he was flying in the air. But, yeah, Hardy played some good shots as well. He played a little cameo. And although South Africa picked up wickets, they weren't unable to, or they were unable to pull it back. So 226, I mean, that's really competitive. It looks like a good surface. We said it at the start. We weren't sure how it was going to play because we weren't sure how hard it was underneath. But, yeah, I think it's a good surface, so they might think they've got a chance. But it's a big score to chase down in your first outing of the season.
Yeah, everyone on social media is talking about, oh, Brevis, what is he going to do? It is that kind of game where you think there are some big match players here who want to see a contest.
We do. We hopefully South Africa gets off to a flyer and that they continue to build. They've got enough experience in there as well. We've got firepower, but they're going to have to be consistent in what they do, and I think that'll be the big challenge.
Well, great sport coming your way here on the World of Champions. We've been talking about this year being all about World Cups. How about that? You're looking forward to it?
Definitely. South Africa in a hard pool, and they're going to have to have their work cut out for them. But the way they played against the All Blacks was superb. And in many ways, the Cricket World Cup's under the radar because of the rugby being so prominent. There's the pools. It's a tough one for South Africa. They've got Scotland, they've got Ireland, and obviously Tonga should be alright. It should be sorted out, Romania. But then the next one also, I think they meet the All Blacks or they meet France straight after that if they qualify. So it's going to be wonderful watching. You can see it all here on SuperSport, and I'll be glued.
Oh, we're certainly looking forward to it. And then, of course, 49 days later, it's the Men's Cricket World Cup happening in India, 2023, that tournament. It's just anyone's tournament, you feel, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, South Africa probably going a little bit as underdogs from the way they perform, but I think it's their best format at the moment. We've got a lot of experience in there, and we've got just as good a chance as anyone. So that'll also be great. We'll be there, we'll be covering it. And once the Rugby World Cup's finished, get and watch the cricket.
Polly, thanks very much. Great atmosphere here. We'll take a break and live action after this.
Welcome to the city that never sleeps. The greatest return in tennis, the U.S. Open, live on Sky Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, one and all, get ready for the part of the show that will make you go. A blast from the past of the once greatest game.
United against Arsenal.
Takes center stage again.
The scene is set.
We've seen strong men, high-flying performance, glorious acrobatics, tantalizing trickery. Sensational! Now it's their turn to put on a show.
That is world-class.
It's Arsenal versus Manchester United. To add Sky Sports, go to sky.com/sports.
Ferrari drivers dream of home. To do it at Monza.
What a magnificent win for Ferrari.
We know how important it will be for the team, for the championship, for the tifosi.
The passionate Italian motor racing enthusiasts who worship Ferrari.
It's such a great atmosphere, this race, it really is.
Can Ferrari give the tifosi something to shout about at Monza? To add Sky Sports, go to sky.com/sports.
You ought to pay more attention to women if you want to know what's really going on.
I would bring this whole thing crashing down.
You do not turn on your family!
You're gonna have to burn the whole house down, undo everything he's done.
I will.
Do you want to be a goddess?
Enjoy more of the latest blockbusters on Sky Cinema with Scream 6.
Hello, Samantha. Did you miss me?
Run. He's gonna keep coming after us.
I'm going to punish you, Sam. Better watch your back.
You better watch yours.
Scream 6, available the 8th of September on Sky Cinema.
The most unique league on this planet.
The mighty Sunderland take on the sensational Southampton.
Now, for the world's collide.
In this titanic tussle.
That is spectacular.
Don't miss this cracking championship challenge. Live on Sky Sports.
The most unique league on this planet.
The mighty Sunderland take on the sensational Southampton.
Now, for the world's collide.
In this titanic tussle.
That is spectacular.
Don't miss this cracking championship challenge. Live on Sky Sports. Welcome to the city that never sleeps. The greatest return in tennis. The U.S. Open. Live on Sky Sports.
A blistering display of hitting from the Australians, put into bat by Aidan Markram. 226 on the board, 227 to win the game. It just seems so far out of sight to have a score like that from 20 overs. The highest on this ground in an international match was by India against England, actually, in the T20 World Cup. That was 218, I think. And it's, I mean, what we've seen, you can't sort of imagine even 3 or 4 years ago. Never mind a decade ago, or indeed way back in the early 2000s when the T20 game first came to change the cricketing canvas. Temba Bavuma out in the middle with Reza Hendricks. I guess they are optionless, but to get off to the, or look to get off to the sort of flyer that Matthew Short and Mitchell Marsh specifically really got off to themselves. The rate, just as an aside, is already touching on 11.5 and over. I mean, that's before a ball's been bowled, so it's going to take something quite remarkable. A slip is in place, 4 in the cover ring, and then a third man back. So it's a 6-3 field. Only one fielder in front of square on the leg side. Sean Pollock's aching, I can see, to speak.
I want to see how Marcus Stoinis goes on. I mean, those figures would say he doesn't bowl much, but we watched him in the warm-up, and he was charging him,
wasn't he?
hitting the ball to shape away from the right-handers. So there must be something about it. I mean, for them to throw the new ball to him, they must have seen something. He must be feeling confident. And I'd love to see a fast bowler or bowler use his attributes to his advantage at the start of a T20.
No, you're quite right. He did storm him, ran in quickly and bowled quickly. A reminder, the first KFC T20 International here at Hollywood Bets Kingsmead. Australia dominant with the bat. Here's Marcus Stoinis. There's the swing. That's exactly what he did when we were out there watching him pre-match. Good carry through to the wicket-keeper, late movement. Very talented cricketer. One, incidentally, highly rated from the minute he saw him by Shane Warne. Now, there's an element of Victorians sticking together in that, but Warne thought he had a lot of natural ability, both with ball and bat, and hoped that Australia stuck with him. Well, they have and they haven't. He's not always been consistent, but at times he's been brilliant.
The key is if you've got some attribute that can be effective, and you can only have maybe 2 or even 3 overs in this format where the ball will swing through the air, and he's using it superbly well. I mean, those first 2 deliveries, perfect line and length, a little bit of shape, bringing the slip and the man at short third man into play. He's shown good control, and you know, he's not a guy, as we saw from those stats, 52 games, only 18 wickets. He doesn't normally play a massive role, but he's obviously thought about it and thought, what can I do to add a bit of a different dimension to this team, and he's doing it now.
Good stroke and a great stop. A parry and a throw from Tim David. Big fellow, tall man, and good athlete. A sort of a lazy looking athlete, but actually an impressive one.
It's a brilliant stop. If he picked it up cleanly, he might have been able to turn and try and throw the stumps down. I walked past him as we went onto the ground after the first innings, and he said, "Oh, Polly, I missed out on happy hour." He got out with 3 or 4 overs to go. He didn't get to play as many shots as he wanted to.
Oh, Temba Bavuma got really squared up, so much so that he was off balance. By squared up, I mean, he lined it up with his right shoulder, not his left shoulder, and was front on when he played the ball. That's not the end of the world, but it is if you're off balance.
So got something to do with the actual delivery. It was looking like it was heading down to the leg side, and then once it pitched, it just straightened nicely. A little bit of movement from Stoinis. 4 deliveries, just a single off it. He's done well so far.
Bowled in! Top class over from Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah, brilliant. This one, it looks like it's just pitched and nipped back. You've seen the intent to try and shake the ball away from the right-handers, and that's what Temba Bavuma would have been thinking about. But I think if we have a look at the replay, it might just be that one that nips back. Maybe slightly wider on the crease, definitely. Nips back through the gate, crashes into the top of middle stump. And that is a brilliant bit of bowling by Stoinis. The grouping has been exceptional. The movement through the air and then off the seam has been superb in the first 5 deliveries. Bavuma goes without scoring. South Africa in trouble, 1 for 1.
Not only has Temba Bavuma had his poles knocked over by Marcus Stoinis, but the rate has gone to 11.8 and over from 11.35 at the start. Here's Rassie van der Dussen. Good run chaser, nice calm head on him, but of course this is really about your range of shot, your power of shot, because there's not so much craft in this as adventure. Got to go on one big adventure. Chris Morris is alongside Sean and I, very quiet, but acknowledging each of the balls bowled so far by Marcus Stoinis. 1 left in the over, a fine over so far. And so it remains. What a start by the Australians, 1 for 1.
Have a look at Marcus Stoinis, first 3 balls swinging away beautifully. And if you look closely, they would have just moved his fingers across the seam, forcing it to maybe get a little bit of straight movement from the wicket. But an excellent piece of bowling from Marcus Stoinis. He looks fired up after that last ball is bowled to Rassie van der Dussen. Test was out. And there we go. There's the celebration.
Well, I wonder if there's anything in there back to the coach, you know, saying thanks for backing me. Maybe Stoinis has given enough signals in practice to say I'm a better bowler than perhaps you thought I was. This is my stage, and he's rewarded their faith, that is for sure, with that over. Spencer Johnson, absolutely brand new, out of the blocks, a good find. Young left arm, quick, and I mean quick. He can bowl a speedy ball for sure.
Yeah, there was another Johnson who bowled a speedy left arm ball for Australia as well.
Oh, and here on one occasion too. Maybe not as quick as he bowled at Centurion, but not far off. Yeah, so this guy played for the Oval Invincibles in the 100 in England, and wait for this, against Manchester Originals, who opened with Jos Buttler and Phil Salt. He bowled his 20 balls for 3 and took a wicket. He bowled 19 dot balls, a 3, and took a wicket.
He's got to be kicking himself about that one that went for 3. Was it inside edge or outside edge, or it's just an average delivery? You're allowed one bad one, aren't you?
Well, if it was an inside edge or outside edge, it might have been a bad one.
I don't think he would have been bowling them that length, though. He's obviously working out his little radar and going to be trying to venture a little bit fuller. It's always nice to have the left arm option in your bowling attack, and Australia have had some good ones in the past. And he'll be hoping to enhance his reputation here this evening.
I don't think he's come on the scene quite quickly. He's played quite a lot of Big Bash, played in some leagues around the world, as Mark mentioned early on, but I'll be happy with those first 2 balls. Got it out the way in international cricket. You always worry about where that first one's going to go in your first ball of international cricket, but rhythm looks good, action looks strong, and yeah, comfortable. See if you can exploit some of that swing. And if we look at the celebration from Marcus Stoinis, I think that might have been related directly to Lazard Williams after he got him out in the first inning. So a little bit of niggle out there straight away, and it's what you like to see between South Africa and Australia. That's directly at Lazard Williams, I think.
Yes, you can forget my coach theory.
Nice movement through the air back into the right hand. But if someone had said to you on this tour, you're going to get a real exhibition of the first over with a brand new ball from a fast bowler, and it's going to be from Australia, would you have gone down the route of Stoinis? I probably wouldn't have thought so.
Well, no. I mean, firstly, we didn't have him down as fast. We can now. And secondly, we didn't think that he'd bowl with a new ball necessarily. He is. And his control of swing in that over, to be able to bowl 5 that go out and get one to nip back. I know it's the outswinger's sort of natural variation, the nip backer, but I think Chris's point that he might have dragged his fingers down the seam of it's a good one. So what's happening here is Rassie van der Dussen is trying to hit it too hard. Such is the pressure of a 12 and over chase. So for all your ability to strike the ball, the real trick is to time the ball. If you do that, you're likely to score far quicker.
And as you can see, the away swing is using the shape beautifully was Marcus Stoinis, and as we said, maybe putting the finger across the seam there and getting that one to nip back. It's an excellent piece of bowling. Execution was excellent, because landing the ball in exactly the same place without the shape it's an excellent piece of skill.
Yeah, Rassie not able to lay bad on ball, really. 4 for 1.
got a message.
I love that just washed fairy freshness. I just don't want it to fade. Now I've found Fairy's in-wash scent boosters. Simply add directly into the drum before every wash for mild freshness that lasts and lasts, cuddle after cuddle. They're dermatologically tested and suitable even next to sensitive skin. New Fairy scent boosters.
Depends whether you're Australian or English sometimes. Thank you for pointing that out, whoever did. A staggering statistic.
You're taking either of those figures, aren't you?
Yeah, those are nights to remember.
Can't bowl 20 balls in this format of the game for a run. He did.
And picked up 3 wickets.
Butler and Salt.
A little bit of pressure being built up. Yeah, well, not a little, quite a lot of pressure being built up by Australia. It hasn't really been a bad ball to my knowledge that I've seen so far. Maybe that's probably the difference so far between the South African conglomerates of bowlers and Australians. Maybe trying a few things too many instead of just using the conditions. And so far, so good for the Australians. South Africa have to make a play soon.
Yeah, the key too is that all of a sudden you have one good over and you get given another. And you're in your rhythm. It's not a new bowler who you're not too sure what you're going to get from. You've seen Stoinis bowl 6 deliveries. He's bowled with good control. And the captain's happy to back him again.
Oh, we got lucky. Very lucky there, Rassie van der Dussen. Looking to go wide and mid-on and aerial, and the ball moved on him late.
Yeah, closes the face a little bit here. Almost trying to whoop it over deep mid-wicket. And it's a fortunate one. I think that's Tim David at first slip, and he's a real tall individual, so if he can't get his hand up in it, no chance. Actually, it's Matthew Short, who isn't tall, who is short.
And again, that lovely late movement. You know, the swinging the ball late at pace. That's one of the great skills in the game.
The tide's come in, hasn't it, Polly?
Yeah, the moon's out. The full moon's out. The wind's stopped. All of a sudden, it's got a bit steamy out there. But that's the key too, Mark, is that often you'll have coaches in this T20 format who say, come on, you've got to hit length, you've got to be tight, you've got to give nothing away. But there is the moon. And I don't know if you've got any telescopes at home, but apparently later tonight you're going to see some wonderful sights and sounds. Just like that as it disappears onto the bank. Can it be taken? Can it catch? No, it goes down, but it's an important boundary for the South Africans.
Slight advance from Rassie van der Dussen. That's his area. That's where he likes to hit the ball. And not really letting Marcus Stoinis settle too much to him. He's fat enough. He's had enough. He's walked straight at him. And that went as high and as far. That's a big hit here in Durban. Could that be the turning point for this innings? Get that train rolling.
Sure had some hang time, didn't it? And there's only 3 fielders that side, none of them except for mid-on in front of square, so it's the area to miss-hit it if you're going to.
It's interesting to have a look at the comparison scores. Australia were 45 for 1. South Africa found themselves 15 for 1. We talked about how they got off to a flyer. And that's often the key too, is sometimes you get hit once out the ground and then you decide, oh, now I'm going to go to a slower ball or I'm going to try something. He just went back to what he believes is maybe the most effective, length, shape, and it proved to be effective again.
That's a great stroke. That really is. Got away from the ball and gave himself room. 19 for 1.
I think you're spot on there, Polly, in saying keeping it the same, and with him doing that, he does run the risk of this happening, and Rassie van der Dussen backing away and slapping it through the covers. It's an excellent shot. It's clever batting. More of that from the approaches are needed.
Nice vibe here tonight, not heaving full as it is forecast to be for the 2 games that follow, but good crowd for the middle of the week. And other than the shock of Australia's 226 for 6, they've been royally entertained so far. Good pitch, that carry through to the wicket-keeper, who's a long way back here for Spencer Johnson. He's only, I don't know, 2 or 3 yards short of that big KFC advertising sign. That's a long way back. When you bowled with Malcolm Marshall here, did you have pitches that carried like that?
Yeah, we did. This was always the side to bowl from. I used to operate from this end, the Umgani end. Malcolm was always interested in the stumps. He wanted the LBWs in the bowls, and it tended to stay a little bit lower from the old Fort Road end. But I used to like to come to here, and we used to talk about there being a trampoline on a good length. And it didn't always ping through to the keeper, but it always carried comfortably. I think Errol Stewart used to love keeping here because everything was above waist high.
And another point we haven't made, or I haven't made anyway this evening, is how quick the outfield is. It's not just a very good pitch, but it's a lightning outfield. So as soon as that ball pitched, bounced, it was never going anywhere else but the boundary rope or triangle or foam or whatever. Maybe the KFC triangle out there.
Yeah, it's this time of year, Mark. They talk about the 1st of September being the start of spring and everything starts to grow after that. But generally, there's a lot of grass cover on the outfield, and also we have those perpetual storms.
That's good thump as well. Flat batted it. So he's got a mind for the moment now, has Reza Hendricks. And the pair of them have moved it along. 29 for 1.
Reza Hendricks plays his cricket up in the half box, so similar to the guys from Perth. Played a short ball very well, slight duck hook, but he's hit that well enough for 6. And this is the momentum shift that's needed in this run chase. A lot more boundaries, a lot more 6s needed, but the debutant under pressure in his second over.
Yeah, Johnson looks like he's got a comfortable length, and when I say comfortable length, he looks like a length that he prefers to hit his back of a length, and he kind of can do it at will. I think the challenge for him will be trying to venture up a little bit fuller, because it can become a predictable length that does get easy to pick up pull.
Reza Hendricks taking the single. You usually say that's good cricket, traditional cricket. You hit a boundary, you take a single, but in games, I guess you've got to keep going.
It always warms the heart of the coaches, the single.
Yeah, it's not 30 for 1 as against Australia 53 for 1 at this stage. And it sounds odd given the racy start, but Mitchell Marsh ended up playing the anchor innings. In other words, he was someone for the others to play around. It was Tim David's performance, where you pointed that out, I know, Sean. Tim David's performance that sort of blew the game. That's 6, don't worry about that. That's a great hit. Oh, I love watching these guys. Great response. 36 for 1 after 4.
Sky Arts brings you an unmissable celebration of the incredible David Hockney.
When I'm in the studio, I feel 30.
Welcome to the city that never sleeps. The greatest return in tennis. The U.S. Open, live on Sky Sports.
Using his height, standing up tall and smoking it over the wicket. Lost ball.
It's not. The air isn't thick like soup tonight, though, is it? Thin like consomme. It's kind of sort of fresh and clear and very different sort of Durban evening. Reza Hendricks on strike, 15 from 12 balls. Rassie van der Dussen having struggled in his first 3 or 4. I think we said he hadn't really laid much of the bat on the ball at all. Now 21 from 10. 2 4s and 2 6s. Very different pace being bowled here by Sean Abbott, who has great experience with the Sydney Sixers, where there's great success in the BBL, and has had a season or two with Surrey in English cricket. Good competitor and great command of both length and variations in pace. Oh, wow, that's another 6. Plenty of those. One hand, please, someone, somewhere. Nope, bit of juggling going on.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see the game plan of the side that come and bowl second as to what they're going to do. I think Stoinis was superb. He used the swing and the movement to his advantage, but the rest of the bowlers that have been introduced have kind of harped on back of a length. And South Africa have worked it out now. And they really have got the pace of the surface now, and they're starting to pepper the boundaries. These back of a length drag down deliveries have been hammered away. And another opportunity for 100,000 goes down.
Right, well, come back from that start. And will this run away? Yep. It is quick, this outfield.
I think it's good from Reza Hendricks, using the crease, standing still the ball before, and this time backing away. I think Mark, you mentioned it's quite an innocuous pace from Sean Abbott. They look to bowl a lot of slower balls. It's the odd full pace ball, but it's clever batting again from Reza Hendricks, knowing that the field's up. Yeah, slow ball, rolling the fingers across it, and it's clever batting. But I think Polly made the point that Mitch Marsh, anything back of length, was putting it away, and Reza Hendricks has worked that out quite nicely.
Well, he got a habit of taking wickets, so it's worth pointing out that in the history of the Big Bash, the highest wicket taker is Sean Abbott with 154 wickets, and that's because of his control of all the variations that deceive batsmen. He sure needs them to the fore, and quickly this evening.
Yeah, once again, Mark, just going to the comparisons, Australia 69 for 1 at this stage, South Africa 47 for 1. But from over 5 to 10, Australia only put on 30 runs and lost 3 wickets.
That's out, that's out. No! It is out. Just when he tumbled, I thought he might have fumbled, but no. He ran and he caught cleanly, did Mitchell Marsh. That's a great pity, because Russi was just beginning to find his mojo.
And there's the leg cutter from Sean Abbott. Said earlier on that he was going to bowl a lot of those. Perfectly executed, and that's an excellent catch from Mitch Marsh. The big man moved across the turf beautifully. Yet again, another wicket. Stunts the run flow. Rassie van der Dussen goes for 21. South Africa 47 for 2.
Here's Aidan Markram. Played some incredible innings in SA20, and indeed was in fine form for South Africa last summer. We've now seen why and how Sean Abbott has picked up the wickets he has in the Big Bash in Australia, because he's bowled a lovely little leg cutter that's undone Rassie van der Dussen. Markram with a career average in this format of 40, striking at 150. That is spectacularly good. Remember, a great 100 from him here in a test match against the Australians too. Anyway, 47 for 2 now.
Evan Ellis. Yeah, good bowler. Very accurate. Look at that economy, really good. I know it's just 6 matches. But does a top job. Good slower ball. Hits the pitch. Attacks the pitch. Some quirks in the way that he goes about things, his run up and stuff. But accurate and has got good control.
Let's have a look at a slow ball from Sean Abbott. Aussie bowlers certainly have gone to the slow ball a lot quicker than the South African bowlers had. I think they assess the conditions that it's good wicket. We've got to change it up. We've got to do something to make a mistake from the batsman.
Just a single. Oh no, back for a second. Good awareness, alertness.
I quite like his action, Kwame. He's got a bustling action as he's running in. And in T20 cricket, when you have that bustling type of action, as a batsman, you don't quite know what's coming down. It could be a slow ball, it could be a bouncer, it could be a yorker. You can't actually see the ball with all that type of movement.
Yeah, I like that. Straight away you're looking for it because that's what you do. It's what you've done for a really long time. And so you're trying to figure out what you'd be looking at as he comes up. And there he goes, ball in both hands, lift it right up above his head. And then you watch his leading arm, the front arm, it's kind of going all over the place. Not a normal sort of running action. Not a clean running action as you'd see. To give an example of his countryman, a Brett Lee, who would be very clean. And from a long way out, batters would see the ball. Whereas with him, like you're saying, Hash, it's kind of this arm that way, the wrist kind of flopping some of the time. And does he go over it? Does he not? Does he get right behind it? Is it a faster one? Is it a slower one? That's why he's successful.
Another bowler who had that type of bustling action was Chris Morris. You never knew what he was going to bowl. I don't think he knew either.
And so far, so good. Couple of normal pace deliveries, but started with a slowie. And he's got decent pace. Ellis gets up 140, past 140. So when he shifts up or shifts down, it's a big difference, and it can catch you by surprise as the bowler. Hence his success in this format of the game. Beautiful first over. What a nut to finish it off. 6 off. The power play done. 53 for 2, South Africa. Yeah, look at how the power play has gone. What a nut that is. From Stoinis. And then some shots played because South Africa must. They had to try and utilize the power play as best they could. 53 for 2 in that power play. Have a look at the comparison. And as we came on, Sean Pollock spoke about the next 5 overs for Australia, which were very quiet because they lost 3 wickets pretty quickly, one after the other, so it slowed them right down.
Tommy, that difference of 17 runs, what I'd say is what has picked South Africa back is the lack of a left-hander up top. When you have a left-hander opening the batting or even at 3, then it doesn't allow the bowlers to bowl at you. And obviously Quinton de Kock has been there for South Africa, fulfilling that left-handed role.
Adam Zampa injured. Ill, I should say. And so Tanveer Sangha into the side. He bowls leg breaks as well. Is very young. lot of promise. And in those 32 matches, you see the potency, 42 wickets. And at a really good economy rate as well. So you expect wrist spinners to be wicket takers. And the younger they are, the newer they are on the scene, the more success you expect, as long as they can land it and kind of are in some sort of a groove and they're okay, because not many people know much about them.
Great shot, great placement by Huza Hendricks. Short ball from Sangha, but you still got to put it away, and he picked the gap beautifully. On that point, Pommy, you know, leg spinner in T20 cricket is like gold, especially a new leg spinner. You don't quite know, there hasn't been much video analysis on him, and you're not sure what to do, and you're very hesitant as a batsman to run down the wicket because you might drag one down and you then look quite foolish. That one a bit fuller, but there's always a great effort, a great skill with leg spin bowling, and it's almost that natural variation that they have in the skill itself that lends to T20 cricket so beautifully. Rashid Khan is one of them. Imran Tahir was extremely good for South Africa. Adam Zampa for Australian team. The leg spinners have such a great impact in the T20 game, and you know, when it first started, Pommy, everyone thought, you know what, leg spinners, they're all half trackers, they're all full tossers, they're going to get carted everywhere. But actually the opposite had happened. Because you don't know what to expect, they ended up picking up majority of the wickets.
Oh, catch! Yeah! Shouts of catch it, and there you go, short, wide. And he doesn't care. That's why he has a wry smile on his face, because he had expected to get one with a really good ball. But never mind that. Happy days. First one for Sangha.
Yeah, it's one of those shortish balls. You just don't get on top of it. Adam Markram high up on the bat on the edge of it and straight to backward point. He's got a lot of smiles on his face. In a wicket's always a joyous moment for the bowler. South Africa 61 for 3.
Markram gone. South Africa now 61 for 3. Three down now, South Africa. Never a good time to lose a wicket, but ill-timed that one, because they'd have liked to just take it on a little bit, having had a good solid partnership with Hendricks. Devil Brevis is the new man in. A youngster on debut as well. That's his T20 career. Generally aggressive, Devil Brevis. And there would have been, I assume, Hashim, thought on, you know, perhaps changing that batting order, maybe having him up there. Look at the wicket again. Yeah, so disappointed as Markham, because it's there, he could put it away, and Sangha at the other end of that. Tanveer Sangha is, oh, well, I got it. I got him, he's out. Off the edge. Good fielding.
Many in South Africa have waited for this moment. I mean, there's been so much of chat about Devil Brevis, the talent, the excitement that he's brought, or that he brings to the game. And to finally get his debut in the T20 game, I think everyone's just really excited to watch him play and apply his trade. You're talking about the idea of getting him up the order because we were chasing a score of 220. And I do think it's better that he is settled in the middle order. He's been up and down the order, so it's oh, look at that. Who's that handsome guy next to Jevalt?
I must say, I quite love you and Christopher in here, going at each other. Chance to catch it. Nobody there. It's just a single. He's at the back of the box having a go at you, by the way. Yeah, I'm quite interested in that. The fact that you say you're happy with him middle order. In a game such as this one, does it not free him up that he goes up the top?
Yeah, for me, I think the score of the chasing down of 220 odd, I mean, the way that you're going to play is pretty much dictated to you anyway. So I think the ball seemed to have swung quite a lot in the early part of the innings. I just feel it better for him to have get into international cricket, get into the Proteas team, the middle order. And I think he's explored, or he's batted in that position a lot more frequently over the last year anyway, in most of the leagues that he has played.
Nicely played. Just a singled up. 6 off. 67 for 3. Chit-chat, plotting, just how they need to go, and they'll break it down. Need to break it down, give themselves targets that are going to get them closer and closer. Can't get too far away from the rate. The rate required is up to 13, just over. It started at 11.35, so kind of still going okay.
Oh, nice, Sang.
But need a partnership that's going to control things. That's going to just be able to build at a fair clip and put pressure back on Australia.
That one, Sang.
The Proteas don't have the luxury of knocking around for the next 2 or 3 overs. At 13 and over, it's almost mandatory to make an impact, and you're looking for those 20-run overs just to bring back the run rate. Cut to sweeper on the offside. So on that point, and it's a difficult time because when the spinner is on, there's a bit of spin. You got one new batter at the crease, and there's a bit of pressure on Reza Hendricks now, who's the in-form or the in-batter. It's quite a difficult place to actually come into, to be honest.
Man, takes it. Oh, it was whacked. It nearly burst through the hands of Sean Abbott, but he kept a hold of it. The youngster, Brevis, has come and gone.
He had no option. Ball's pitched up, backed himself to hit it over long off. Got too close to it. It was too full, so he couldn't get underneath the ball. Straight to long off. Good catch from, I think it's Sean Abbott. Devil Brevis leaves 5, score 69 for 4.